We're heading into the clouds for this next story, not those fluffy white things above or the ominous black ones hanging over European finances at the moment. No, we're talking cloud technologies. Now, I looked up Wikipedia because I haven't got a clue what's going on here, and Wikipedia describes it this way. Cloud computing is a marketing term for technologies that provide computation software, data access and storage services that do not require end-user knowledge. And that's me. I don't want to need that knowledge, and you might be in the same situation. They don't require the end-user knowledge of the physical location and configuration of the system that delivers those services. And they say a parallel to this concept can be drawn with the electricity grid, wherein end users consume power without needing to understand the component devices or the infrastructure required to provide the service. You still with us? Here we go. So what does it mean? What does it mean for your small business? Because that's what this is all about, or what we're going to be talking about. Liam O'Diver is a local IT consultant and TAFE tutor. He's one of 5 specialists from the local IT and Business Networking Forum, which is called IntoIT, who will introduce you to real cloud-based systems at Bega Valley Small Business Club this evening. Liam, good morning.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm going okay. I've sort of got I've got a bit of a sense of what this is about, but we need you to really unwrap it for us all.
I'll certainly try to help.
Okay, what are we talking about with this cloud technology?
Well, look, I think the best way to describe it might be how you as a user experience the cloud. And I think most people probably have a computer nowadays and use it for things like internet banking and I think Gmail or eBay and those sorts of things. Now, in those sorts of situations, most people have never had to actually install any software on their desktop. Would that be your understanding too?
Well, basically, because my son built my computer for me, and he just handed it and said, "Here's how it works. You press this, you do that. You've got your search engine, this, that, and when it says update this, you go yes."
Yes, indeed.
So that's about the extent of what I had to do.
Well, look, I perfectly understand that situation, but for a business, it can often be a bit more complicated. Traditionally, say 5 years ago, if you needed some software that was critical to the business, and you had, customers and suppliers and even your own staff who needed to use that system, it would cost you a lot of money, and you'd have to pay a lot of skilled people, a bit like your son, to build a system and then operate that system. Now, the degree of complexity with doing that is quite heavy. I think you may appreciate that.
I do appreciate that, yes.
Okay. So what the cloud providers have done, and it's really quite simple, is they've removed all that complexity from the equation. And basically, through your web browser, which is the only system that you need to have on your desktop or your laptop, and they tend to come pre-installed with the system anyway, basically, they will do all that for you in a place that you don't know about. Could be in Canberra, could be in Sydney, or it could be in Singapore, and set all that up for you. And all you have to do is log in basically through your browser. Does that make sense?
It certainly makes sense, and that takes away a great deal of not so much responsibility, but I guess work and onus on you as a business owner.
It's massively significant because the cost and the complexity of setting these systems up for a business, particularly a small business, is so large and so prohibitive that many businesses just simply walk away.
What sort of services are then available through these cloud technologies?
Well, let's divide it into two sectors. There's the consumer market, which we're all familiar with because we've been using the cloud for quite some time now. We just might not realize it. Things like Gmail, even to a certain extent, internet banking.
Yep.
Skype, even though with Skype there generally is some stuff that sits on your desktop, it utilizes the cloud as the means of connecting people for their phone calls and so on and so forth. That's on the consumer side. We're all fairly comfortable with that. On the business side, it came kind of later on in the scheme of things, and businesses, I think the first large business was a company called Salesforce. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. But they got their scheme out during what's called the dot-com crash in the early 2000s. And they started to market this system where you could, as we described, log in through a browser and have all of this functionality and features associated with servicing your customer needs.
All right.
And from there it grew. Other companies started to copy this. And it lagged behind the consumer market by a number of years. But now in the last, say, 2 years, the business sector has all of these opportunities as well. And certainly in our area, for which it's most relevant, small business can start to offer access to software that previously they could never dream of.
Okay, so you could have the full gamut there. You can accounting services, office. What about a web presence on the web? And this is something that I guess many small businesses struggle with because of the perceived amount of time it takes to keep up a web page and a presence on the web.
Well, obviously, you don't want to sound negative, but as you described, it's an extremely complex activity to get a website up. But some of the cloud solutions, and we talk about one at this evening's get-together, some of them, simply you just log on, as I've described, and you can start customizing and personalizing a website to express whatever message your business wants to get out there. Now, previously, you probably would have had to hire somebody, and they would have to connect up with what's called a hosting provider or an ISP, and the level of technical complexity was quite significant. But now, and we talk about this tonight, one of the providers we talk about is called WordPress.com. You basically can log in, provide an email address, and straight out of the box, you have a website available to you. And through some fairly simple steps, you can get the first page and 5 or 6 other pages. And most importantly, from a business perspective, get a blog, because I think a blog as a marketing tool is a very, very useful feature. And you can do that without really having to call in the heavy guns, the heavy technical guns.
Yeah, okay. I guess this sounds like something that businesses right around the southeast should be having a very close look at. One of the questions that certainly comes to, or would come to many people's minds, is what about security? The security of your data, accounts, or all those sorts of things. If it's stored offshore or even in another location, what sort of protections, what guarantees have people got in this area?
Well, look, my view on that, and it's just a view, is that every time you introduce new technology, there are issues associated with it. And whether that new technology is on a computer at the back of the office, or on a computer sitting up in Canberra, or a computer overseas, you have to address all of the issues associated with that system. And one of them is obviously security. Reliability is another issue.
Yeah.
And data protection and privacy of data. Now, without getting into the guts of it too heavily, most businesses have existing systems which have possible points of failure, for want of a better word. And the businesses have had to, with some rigor, verify that the dependencies they've got are acceptable to the business and acceptable to their customers. Nothing has changed with the cloud. Businesses have to do precisely the same thing.
Look, it's a fascinating area, and we'll have to leave it there. But the idea is to get along to the Bega Valley Small Business Club. It's on this evening at the Bega Cheese Heritage Centre. Networking starts at 5:45 and it finishes at around 8:15. Attendance is free, with nibbles, tea, and coffee provided. So it's a good one. Liam, good to catch up with you.
Thank you very much, Tim. Really appreciate it and hope to see as many people as possible this evening at the get-together. And
we'll talk again about these sorts of issues. Liam O'Diver is a local IT consultant and TAFE tutor and cloud technologies. It sounds like something that all small businesses right around the region need to to know about if you don't already. Cloud Technologies, and that forum is this evening.